Okay, so page 5. So we're going to talk about volumes. Anybody know what volume is? Blaine, what's volume? Outside perimeter of a shape. You're really close. Really close. Anybody else have a guess on what volume is? Colin, what do you think volume is? A perimeter. Okay. Luke? Okay. Y'all are so close. So close. Isaac? So close. Alyssa? Width and height. Okay, so we're going to go over it here in just a second. Okay, so we're going to start at the top where you see the model it. Okay, everybody see model it there at the top? Okay, so it says complete the problems below to compare area and volume. Okay, so area and volume are not the same thing. Okay, but we're going to talk about that really quick. So number 1 says, a plane figure is a two-dimensional figure. Explain how to measure the area of the plane figure using the unit square. Okay, so that had a whole lot of words in it. Everybody know whatever all of that meant? Plane figure, two-dimensional. What does it mean if something's two-dimensional? Ania, what does that mean? 2D. What is 2D? Can't remember. Okay. Jackson, what is 2D? Flat. It's flat. Okay. So it's like the shape that you see, that square, is a plane figure. Okay. It has just 4 sides. That's all you can see is one side of it. That is a plane figure. Okay. The unit square is next to it. Everybody see the unit square next to it? Where it's 1 unit by 1 unit. Okay. If I were going to find the area of that unit square, what would my area be? Just that 1 unit square? Colin? Just that one. I'm just talking about this. Just the unit square right there. Not the plane figure. Not this. The unit square. If I was going to find the area of that, what would I do? Times what?
1 times.
Does that say 4? 1 times 1. So the area of that unit square, area equals 1. Now, 4 of those will fit in here. Those aren't equal, but pretend they are. Okay? There's 4 of those in there. If each side, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. What is this? 1 plus 1 is what? 2. 2. 2. 2. Now if I do my area, 2 times 2 is what? So for my plane figure, my area is 4. Okay? We all right so far? Okay. Now, when you're looking at a plane figure, okay, if it has unit squares in it, do they overlap? No, they're just butted right up against each other, right? They're all butted up against each other. So now let's talk about volume. So let's look down at number 2. So a solid figure is a 3-dimensional figure. The volume of the solid figure is the amount of space inside the figure. I want you to underline inside the figure. So it's not just the perimeter. It's not just the area. It's everything inside. All of the space that is inside of that figure. Okay? That is volume. So it's everything inside. So if you see a cube, everything on the inside of that cube is your volume. Okay? We good so far? Okay. So it says a unit cube is a cube that has side lengths of 1 unit. How do you think you could use unit cubes to measure the volume of the solid figure? I want you to try and answer that question on your own. Write down your answer, and then we're going to talk about it in just a second. Okay, so how do you think you could use unit cubes to measure the volume of the solid cube? So you would take however many unit cubes it takes and fill up your solid figure, and then you would count how many cubes you have, and that's your volume. Okay? So let's look at page 6. So page 6. So number 3. Number 3 says a rectangular prism. What's a rectangular prism? Anybody know? A rectangular prism. A 3D shape. So it's a 3D rectangle. Okay? So a 3D rectangle. So in my best here.
I can't draw 3D squares.
There is a rectangular prism. Okay? So a rectangular prism is a solid figure with 6 rectangular sides or faces. The 2 boxes shown below are identical rectangular prisms with unit cubes inside of them. So everybody see, we're talking about way number 1 and way number 2. Everybody see that? Okay, so way number 1, and my pen still doesn't want to work. All right, way number 1. Okay, right. We're just gonna. Nope, that's not what I wanted.
When did I start learning algebra?
All right, so we are looking here at way number 1 and way number 2. So that's the 2 rectangular prisms they're talking about. Okay, so they are identical with unit cubes inside of them. So everybody see the unit cubes that are inside of those 2 prisms. Okay, circle the diagram that you think shows the correct way to use unit cubes to measure the volume of the rectangular prism. Cross out the incorrect way, then explain your choice. So, circle the one you think is correct, mark out the one you think is incorrect, and then tell me why you think the one you picked is correct. Okay, so way number 2 is correct. Way number 1 has chunks missing. If we have chunks missing inside of our prism, we cannot correctly measure the volume. Everything has to be butted up against each other. Okay, like in way number 2. Okay, so you should have circled way number 2, marked out way number 1. Okay, all right. And our reason was why?
Because way 1 has chunks missing and you can't compare them.
I'm going to say number 2 because they are close together. And the other one has big chunks missing out of it. You can't measure something if it's got big chunks missing out of it. All right, let's look at number 4. A unit cube is said to have 1 cubic unit of volume. Cubic units are used to measure the volume of a solid figure. A. What is the volume of each unit cube inside the rectangular prism you circled in problem number 3? So each unit cube, the volume is what?
12.
Each cube, not the whole thing. 1. Each cube, so we're talking about each single unit cube, okay, has a cubic unit of 1. Every single one of them. Every one we look at from here on out, each single cube has a unit of 1. Okay? Now in B, what is the volume of the rectangular prism? 12. Because if you count all of those cubes, you have 12. Okay?